Just a broader question, Praz, I'd love to get your take on. These kind of broader questions about the EV market, kind of where it is and where it's headed. Like there's a good piece in the Journal today talking about sales plateauing, inventories piling up, folks are slashing their prices like Tesla. When you talk to analysts, where do they see the market headed from here?
All that and more, so let's get to it. Musk's comments put Tesla in a difficult spot. Nikola, CFO, to leave after underwhelming Q3. FISKER'S material weakness warning and more. Biggest EV stories of the week. Most electric vehicle stocks advanced in the week that ended on November 18th amid the broader market recovery set in motion by a couple of benign inflation readings. I wouldn't necessarily call it benign. Rate hikes appear to be over, and the next thing we're looking at is probably cuts. For goods in which many of the purchasers need to have a loan for, I'd say that's pretty good news. Market leader Tesla led from the front with a weekly gain of over 10%, despite backlash from even the staunchest Tesla fans over techno king Elon Musk's backing of anti-Semitic content on X. Here are the key events that happened in the EV space during the week. Tesla Swedish woes mount, CYBERTRUCK updates, and more. If Metall, one of the most powerful unions in Sweden, is looking to disrupt work at Tesla's Berlin Gigafactory, a Swedish company that makes aluminum profiles for Tesla EVs manufactured in Giga Berlin, has reportedly joined the sympathy strike and blockade. Tesla, meanwhile, released a statement to Tesla owners in the country saying, like many other companies, we have chosen not to enter into a collective agreement. More than 90% of our employees have chosen to remain in their positions, ready to welcome you to our delivery centers, service centers, and stores. 90%. Just a little more than a simple majority, right? As the Cybertruck launch fast approaches, Tesla sent out invites to the event with participants selected via a raffle. Separately, Tesla product design director said at a conference in Monterrey, Mexico, that the company will likely deliver 10 Cybertrucks at the event. I was really hoping for a larger number, 25 or more. Musk's support for an anti-Semitic post on X was the center of a controversy toward the end of the week. Many expressing their disappointment of the billionaire's stance. There was no stance. Acknowledging that something is factual doesn't mean that you've taken a stance on anything. Some went to the extent of saying they would stop buying a Tesla. Women-led impact investing firm Nia Capital said in a LinkedIn post that it was appalled by Musk's comments and saw his behavior as dangerous. Acknowledging something as factual being dangerous. You want a couple examples of some prime virtue signaling? Well, here you go. We ask that the board of directors take appropriate actions to address this violation, to result in censure by the board, demotion, reassignment, suspension, or removal, all for acknowledging something that is factual. Ross Gerber said in a post on X that it takes a lifetime to build a reputation and a day to lose it. Word of warning, don't go looking into the past of some of the CEOs of your favorite car companies if that's the case. Sadly, this is a win for Rivian. I will be replacing my Tesla Model Y for a Rivian next year, and I'm sure the rest of LA will as well. You know what really grinds my gears is when social media justice warriors hold their phone higher than Lion-O from Thundercats, shouting at the top of their lungs about what's going wrong in the world. Elon Musk is supposed to be a good little CEO. Keep his mouth shut, be seen, not heard. Well, I say f that. Don't make me start singing again. Nikola CFO quits? Struggling electric and hydrogen fuel cell truck maker Nikola saw a key executive departure. In a filing with the SEC on Friday, Nikola said its former CFO informed the company on Monday that she will be resigning from her position to pursue other opportunities. I suppose you don't want to be the last person left holding the bag at Nikola. She will continue to serve as CFO and assist with the transition through December 1st. Key financial leadership at the company would now report to Nikola CEO Stephen Gursky. FISKER'S underwhelming Q3 material weakness warning. EV startup Fisker reported a third quarter result that trailed expectations. Following the abrupt departure of its chief accounting officer in October, it determined that it has a material weakness in the company's internal control over financial reporting. The weakness will delay the filing of its 10Q report, the company flagged. Rivian offers freebie for R1T. In line with the EV industry strategy of pulling all stops to push vehicles, Rivian announced this week it will offer a free wall charger and a $2,000 installation credit if a customer buys an R1T pickup truck on or before December 31st. The move comes as Tesla is all set to launch its version of the electric pickup truck, the CYBERTRUCK, on November 30th. Volkswagen recalls ID.4s in the US. German legacy automaker Volkswagen, don't go looking into their history, said in a filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that it is recalling its US-bound 2023 ID.4 electric crossovers because the material that was used for the interior sunshade of the panoramic glass roof may not meet federal standards for flammability. The recall involved 23,883 EVs made between September 2nd and August 24th of 2023. Can't solve that with an over-the-air software update, if they could do them in the first place.
Cadillac confirms the fourth vehicle to join its expanding global electric vehicle portfolio.
Let's just keep tossing models at these Maybe one of them will stick. It's not quantity, GM. It's definitely quality.
I don't even know how to follow that, but let's talk about Cadillac and this offering here.
Yeah, the entry-level Optiq, as it's known, the entry-level Cadillac is here. Sort of like, I believe, the size of the Chevrolet Equinox EV, which is their entry-level, small-size, Ultium-based EV. I reached out to Cadillac about that. They wouldn't confirm or deny whether it was the Equinox size, but I believe it is. So that Equinox EV was going to cost around $40,000-ish. So I'm assuming this Optiq, the entry-level Cadillac, will cost maybe around
$50,000, ladies and gentlemen, and we're labeling it entry-level. I'm sure there's going to be some level of support for this vehicle, right? I mean, there has to be an opportunity here, right?
They already have the Lyric out right now, which is a bit larger, and that costs around $60,000. So I think that's where that Optiq will slot in, and it is the same size as the Model Y, and it'll probably compete in that space, in that small crossover EV area. So
I believe Praz is using the word compete fairly liberally right there.
One thing I want to note, though, is that in China, there's a similar model that came out. It's powered by cheaper LFP batteries and two motors, or one, depending on how you want the configuration. I'm not sure if that'll happen here in the States, but it gives you an idea of how they might cut costs there for that car.
It's interesting, just a broader question, Praz, I'd love to get your take on. These kind of broader questions about the EV market, kind of where it is and where it's headed. Like, there's a good piece in the Journal today talking about, sales plateauing, inventories piling up, folks are slashing their prices like Tesla. When you talk to analysts, where do they see the market headed from here?
I think big picture overall, we are going to go EVs at some point. It's going to happen. Just may not happen as soon as people thought. 2030 was that year that we were thinking of. At least the Biden administration wants half the cars to be EVs. That may happen, but it's still a ways away, and there's a lot of challenges with pricing and infrastructure. I think pricing right now is the biggest issue. A lot of people can charge at home, so it's not that big of a deal to not have a charger away. For us, it's different living in the city. But I think that's the big issue: is can you get cheaper cars here? And the Cadillac Optiq is going to be one of those.
$50,000. It's not even cheaper than the Model Y or Model 3 right now. As far as the EV adoption expectations, 50% of all new car sales being electric here in the United States by 2030, that's not only going to happen, it's going to happen much faster than people think. This plateauing of sales only includes electric vehicles that are poorly made. You can't just take an internal combustion engine, take the engine out, and slap a battery underneath and think consumers are going to want that shit product. Tesla will be growing battery electric vehicles at a breakneck pace in the next few years. If everything was to remain stagnant, I might be inclined to agree that maybe things would plateau, but Tesla's not standing still. And there are other companies, Rivian, who by this time next year should see themselves in the top 5 of battery electric vehicle sales. Hyundai, Kia, they're already number 2. Volkswagen, despite having to recall their EVs, at least they're producing them. These companies aren't scaling back their EV progress because they have the foresight to see the future. Any car can get you from point A to point B. The trick will be to design a battery electric vehicle that is more compelling than its internal combustion engine variant. Because that's who Cadillac really is competing with. That's who Ford is really competing with. Their own internal combustion engine vehicles. Once you build something that is more compelling, it'll only make sense that you have to truncate your internal combustion engine part of your business.
And how have the other Cadillac EV models sold, first of all? And secondly, you know, we talk so much about Tesla and Ford and GM, but like Hyundai has a bunch of EV and plug-in hybrids. VW's got, you know, those seem to be gaining some traction as well. So what does the fuller landscape look like?
You know, GM has been sort of late to the game because they wanted to develop that Ultium platform, and they haven't had that many Lyric sales. I think only a few thousand as of to date, and that's the only EV they have. The other EV they have is
Cadillac.
Through Cadillac, right. And GM has sort of delayed a bit of their Silverado EV sales. Right now they're only selling the work truck, which is like a pro model. But you're absolutely right. Volkswagen, they've been going pretty hard with their ID4 and cars like that. Hyundai and its sister brand Kia, really killing it from like a volume point of view, car point of view, well-reviewed cars. They just put out a new Ioniq 5N, which is like a sporty electric EV at the LA Auto Show. It looks great. People love that car. It can also do bi-directional charges. You can charge like stuff in your house. This is, I mean, these guys are really doing it in terms of.
To me, that's like the stealth
volume.
thing that is not getting as much attention because we talk about Tesla all the time.
Right, and I know you guys talk about that Amazon thing that they did with the partnering with them to sell cars. So that they're definitely moving the needle there with the mass appeal, mass sort of selling of cars, EVs in this country.
In conclusion, strikes over there in Sweden seem to be heating up. Well, at least from the small minority. They're really angry over there. Looking at around maybe 10 Cybertrucks at the delivery event, I'm sure hoping that there's more. People really want Elon Musk to go away for some reason. Censure, demotion, reassignment, suspension, removal. How are we supposed to move the needle anywhere if we can't talk about sensitive subject matter? What's that, Mr. Campbell? Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. I know many of you might want me to stop singing, but you will not censor me. NIKOLA'S CFO abandons ship. FISKER'S financial reporting looks a little iffy. Rivian is offering free wall chargers and installation? No, we're not worried about this Cybertruck. No. You want this free wall charger though, right? Volkswagen recalls over 20,000 ID4s, and Cadillac now offers something opposite of the Lyric in the Optiq. Don't worry, this one is entry level though. $50,000 or so. I guess that's before you have to go argue about it with a dealer on the lot. I suppose this is supposed to compete with the Model Y. I'm not so sure it'll be able to outsell its big brother, the Lyric. I suppose time will tell. That's all I have for you today. Be easy. Bird.